Now, in a first, a woman comedian has been accused of sexually harassing another fellow comedian. There's a comedian that has now come out calling out Aditi Mittal, another comedian, for her inappropriate behavior while in front of an audience, in fact, 2 years ago. The post that has now been put up by this comedian named Kaneez calls out Aditi Mittal for forcefully kissing her on stage, even forcing her tongue down her throat, that too without any consent and prior information. What this comedian goes on to say is that while Aditi Mittal has been on social media as a champion of the cause of women and their dignity and their private space and their movement against sexual harassment, especially at the workplace, she remembers this incident from 2 years ago where in front of an audience of about 100 and many comedians at Andheri base in Mumbai, Aditi Mittal walked up on stage and forcefully kissed me on my mouth out of the blue and put her tongue in my mouth while I was still on stage and without my consent. The comedian Kaneez goes on to say, "It left me humiliated, shocked and completely stripped of choice. Every person is entitled to choice and boundaries and she violated mine." We've got my colleague Aditya Rajkol now joining us over the phone line for more on this. So, Aditya, now, in a first, a woman has also been accused of crossing the line.
Absolutely. In fact, these are serious allegations that have surfaced at this moment against comedian Aditi Mittal. It just doesn't stop. It was initially Tanmay but also Gursimran Khamba and, of course, others who have allegations had really put them in a soup. And now Aditi Mittal is now these latest allegations are from a fellow comedian, in fact, which really put serious questions on Aditi Mittal. Now, we haven't really heard from Aditi Mittal as of now what her reaction would be on this entire matter. But these are certainly serious developments. A one-page statement has been put up by, in fact, Kaneez Surka, which clearly points out to Aditi Mittal, who walked up on stage and forcibly kissed her. And this certainly, she says, were crossing the boundaries and violated, in fact, the respect. And Kaneez was completely shocked and humiliated. That's what she says.
Yeah.
She says that while Aditi apologized, but
and Aditya, what this brings to light is, of course, the fact that women can be guilty of crossing the line as well, whether it is with fellow women or with men, if they are in positions of power, rather, especially. And what this also brings to light is the very crass behavior of comedians, especially. As you mentioned, it's the comedic community in India that has been called out because they claim to be woke, they claim to be feminist, they claim to be progressive and forward-looking. They call out other people, but it seems a lot is wrong within their own house.
In fact, you would remember, Shivani, that many of these comedians, including AIB, had been talking about women empowerment. They had been speaking about equal rights to women and also against sexual harassment and crimes against women, especially rape. That had already become a campaign in India in the last few months as well. So clearly this calls out the hypocrisy of people like Tanmay Bhatt or Gursimran Khamba, who have already been accused of similar allegations. And now in this case, Aditi Mittal. So Aditi Mittal has been very vociferously condemning sexual harassment over the last few days. But now she herself is in a soup right now. Whether there will be some legal implications to this, whether there will be an official complaint made, we'll have to wait and watch. But certainly some very serious questions against Aditi Mittal. Obviously, he has accessed this statement as well by Kaneez. And she continuously says that Aditi Mittal humiliated her and violated her privacy and her rights as well.
Right.
And certainly we have to wait and watch what Aditi Mittal will say now.
Right. And remember, Kaneez herself is a very noted comedian, and it perhaps brings to light another problem that the Indian comedic community is facing, that of exactly what is funny. Several people have called them out for even their comedy, which is rather boorish.